It began with arrogance, the kind only an empire untouched by fear could possess. The Threx Dominion, a coalition of worlds older than human civilization itself, descended upon Kaelin's moon, a human colony orbiting the crimson gas giant Lurith. The colony was peaceful, agricultural, lightly defended, and proud of its neutrality. It wasn't strategic, it wasn't political, it was simply human. But to the Threx it was a message. A warning to the upstart species from the Sol system that had begun meddling in galactic affairs. They had watched humanity spread through the stars like wildfire, resilient, resourceful, and unrelenting. And so the Dominion decided to strike first. Their armada appeared in orbit with the arrogance of gods descending upon insects. Plasma lances sliced through orbital stations. Civilian transports were shattered mid-flight. The colony's main city, Havenport, was turned into a crater within minutes. When the dust cleared, the Threx commander, Admiral Vorkul, broadcast his words across open channels. "Let it be known," he sneered, his mandibles clattering with disdain, "that this is what awaits those who call themselves human. You are primitive, fragile. Your worlds are sand before the storm." They left the burning ruins behind, satisfied that their message was clear. But what they didn't understand, what they never understood, was that humanity always hears the message, and humanity always answers. Chapter 1. The arrogance of empires across the Threx Dominion. The destruction of Kaelin's moon became legend within hours. News feeds broadcast the footage with pride. The crowds cheered as the burning colony spun slowly in the void. The Dominion's High Council gathered to celebrate. Their ministers of war laughed over drinks of molten iron. "Earth will sue for peace," one said confidently. "They'll plead for mercy. They always do," another, a cold-eyed admiral, smirked. "They lack the fleet, the technology, the will. They'll send envoys. They'll write letters. They'll beg." Even among the lesser races allied to the Threx, the idea of human retaliation was absurd. Humanity was young, barely a few centuries into spacefaring life. The Dominion had crushed dozens of species greater and older than them. To the Threx this was no different. But beyond the hyperlanes and communication grids, in the shadowed halls of human space command, no laughter echoed. Only silence and orders. Chapter 2. The silence before retribution. When the transmission from Kaelin's moon reached Earth, it was played once before the entire United Terran Assembly. No words were spoken. The hollow screen flickered with the last moments of Havenport, the screams, the fire, the silence that followed. Then the feed ended. Admiral Shen of the Terran Defense Command stood. Her voice was quiet, controlled. "Activate Protocol Nemesis." A single sentence. But across Earth and her colonies, it was as though the air itself shifted. Factories retooled overnight. Orbital shipyards lit up like stars being born. AI cores awakened from deep code dormancy. Subspace networks filled with encrypted orders, and the familiar hum of civilian traffic was replaced by the thunder of mobilization. In the cold void beyond Mars, an ancient fleet stirred, one not seen since the days of the Orion Wars. Black-hulled dreadnoughts drifted out of hidden docks, their names etched in steel. Retribution, Vigilant, Nemesis, Judgment. Each bore scars from wars the galaxy had forgotten. Each was a weapon forged not for conquest, but for vengeance. Humanity did not scream, did not boast, did not threaten. It simply prepared, and the galaxy, in its arrogance, mistook that silence for weakness. Chapter 3. The first echoes of fear. 3 weeks after Kaelin's moon burned, the first Threx outpost vanished. No explosion, no distress signal, no survivors, just silence. A week later, 2 Dominion patrol fleets disappeared on the rim. Their last transmissions were static, then screams. The few recovered black boxes revealed only fragments, brief flashes of metallic shapes, fast as light, followed by annihilation. By the time the Threx Council realized what was happening, dozens of frontier systems had gone dark. Their communication buoys were gone. Their colonies, Admiral Vorkul, once so smug, now found himself pacing the war room aboard his flagship. "How are they doing this?" he hissed. "Unknown," his intelligence officer replied. "Their ships move without drive signatures. Their weapons pierce shields as if they aren't there." Reports began flooding in. Fleets ambushed in hyperspace, supply lines cut, Planets besieged by unmarked vessels that came and went like ghosts. The Dominion's vast network of spies found nothing. No chatter, no threats, no demands, only a message. Burned into the wreckage of one destroyed Threx cruiser. This is for Keelan's moon. Chapter 4. The Rise of the Iron Legion. Humans called it Operation Ensong. Entire sectors of the Terran fleet, now unified under the black sigil of the Iron Legion, were unleashed. Fleets emerged from warp tunnels like storms made of steel and vengeance. The Threx's vaunted defensive lines were crushed within days. Their fortress worlds, protected by planetary shields that had stood for centuries, fell within hours under the rain of kinetic rods from orbit. Each human strike was cold, precise, and merciless. Civilian targets were spared, but military ones were erased. One battle became legend among both sides, the Siege of Varthan. The Threx had fortified the planet with 30 orbital platforms, 6 defense fleets, and a planetary shield powered by a stellar core reactor. It was impregnable. The humans arrived with 12 ships, but those 12 ships carried the Leviathan cannons, weapons thought impossible to build. They fired once each, just once. When the light cleared, the planet's shield was gone, its surface molten, its fleets scattered. The human commander, Captain Reyes of the Vigilant, sent a transmission across the sector. You wanted war. You will have it. For every human life taken, we will return 1,000-fold. For every world burned, we will salt your stars. Chapter 5. The Fall of the Dominion. As months turned into years, the Threx Dominion crumbled. Human fleets did not occupy. They did not enslave. They did not conquer. They simply destroyed. Entire shipyards vanished under precision strikes. Military academies, orbital foundries, and supply depots, all gone. The humans moved like a machine fueled by rage and guided by unerring logic. And then came the Sol Requiem fleet. 100 dreadnoughts, 10 kilometers long each, flanked by thousands of cruisers. They entered the Threx home sector with no declaration, no warning. Their arrival eclipsed the sun. Admiral Vorkol, now cornered in orbit above Threx Prime, activated every defense system he had. The sky became a web of plasma fire. The ground shook as planetary cannons fired into the heavens. But humanity had come to end it. The Retribution descended through the atmosphere, its hull glowing from re-entry. As it passed, it released thousands of drop pods, each containing the Terran Shock Marines. Soldiers in black armor, faces hidden, weapons humming with power. They landed like meteors, cutting through Threx ranks with cold precision. Cities fell silent in hours. The last transmission from the Threx capital was a single, panicked scream before static consumed the feed. Above, the human fleet fired its final volley, a coordinated strike that reduced the Threx command citadel to dust. No celebration followed, no cheer, just silence. Chapter 6. The galaxy trembles, the war was over. The Dominion was gone. In its place remained a graveyard of worlds, and the silent promise of what happens when humanity is provoked. The neutral species who had once mocked Earth now sent envoys bearing tribute, apologies, or desperate offers of alliance. None were refused, but none were trusted. The United Terran Command issued one public statement, broadcast across every known channel. Humanity does not seek conquest. We seek peace. But if you threaten our people, our colonies, our children, our home, you will learn the price of your arrogance. The message ended there, but across the stars, no one missed the meaning. Empires that had stood for millennia fell silent. Pirate lords dismantled their fleets overnight. Even the ancient ascendancies, those who considered themselves above mortal wars, began reinforcing their borders. And when whispers of new hostilities began in the Outer Rim, the phrase echoed everywhere, spoken in fear. Do not provoke Earth. Epilogue. Endless battles decades later. Among the ruins of the Threx Dominion, scavengers still find remnants of the war. Hulks of ships larger than cities, fragments of armor that refuse to rust, and sometimes voices, recordings left behind by dying soldiers. One such log, recovered from a shattered Threx cruiser, told the final thoughts of a commander who had once mocked humanity. They are endless. You destroy one, 10 more rise. They do not stop, they do not tire. We gave them war, and they made it eternal. In the centuries that followed, humanity never again launched an unprovoked campaign. But they never stopped building either. The Iron Legion remained, not as conquerors, but as guardians, silent, watching, waiting. Because somewhere in the vast cold dark, Another species will one day forget. They will see humanity's silence and mistake it for weakness. They will look upon the blue world of Sul and think it can be bullied. And on that day, the silence will break again. Engines will roar, stars will burn, and once more, the galaxy will remember what the Threx learned too late. The aliens wanted war, and found endless battles.